Well, let's return to our breaking news that the International Criminal Court is preparing to investigate alleged war crimes in the Palestinian territories. To recap, the ICC's chief prosecutor says this could include charges against Israelis or Palestinians. Fatou Bensouda says she's satisfied that war crimes have been or are currently being committed in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip. But Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the court has no jurisdiction to investigate inside the Palestinian territories. Well, let's take you to Twitter, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said the investigation would, quote, turn the tribunal into a political weapon against Israel and against our country. We want to turn Jews living in their homeland into war crimes. It's absurd in every possible way. Well, at this point, we can speak to Ammar Hijazi, who's the Assistant Minister for Multilateral Affairs for the State of Palestine. He's also a member of the Palestinian Mission to the UN, and he joins us live from Ramallah via Skype. Thank you for being with us, sir. I'm going to start by asking you about what Israel is saying, that there is no jurisdiction for the ICC to investigate here. What is your response?
That's Israel's sole opinion. The international community and everybody else and all international and relevant international bodies have determined that there is jurisdiction for international law, for international courts, and for human rights law, and that they are all applicable to the occupied Palestinian territory. And Israel is the only country in this world that does not recognize these facts, and they can continue claiming that, but it will not change the fact that those laws and those norms do apply to the occupied Palestinian territory, and they cannot escape this fact.
Let me ask you, Mr. Hijazi, because I understand that Palestine referred this to the International Criminal Court, the possibility that war crimes were being committed now back in May. So why do you think it's taken quite so long to get to this point?
Well, actually, the whole case started more than 5 years ago, and we were always wondering why it took them that long to open investigations and to start in the process of investigations, given that the crimes that Israel has been committing in the occupied Palestinian territory are very obvious, including the crime of the transfer of its own citizens into the occupied Palestinian territory, which is a war crime under the Rome Statute. That has been noticed by the Palestinian government, but nonetheless, we welcome this as a first step forward in order to grant the victims of those crimes justice as soon as possible and to bring them to an end.
What are you hoping to achieve here? You're talking about trying to fight for justice, but in terms of actual concrete measures, I mean, this investigation could take some time. What are you actually hoping to see out of the ICC?
Well, we're hoping that the ICC will hold those who are committing crimes against our people, against our land, and the crimes that are outlined in the Rome Statute accountable to their crimes, and that no more crimes are being committed on the Palestinian land, which will basically set the stage for ending occupation and thus opening the path for a conclusion of this conflict. Otherwise, if Israel continues to conduct its crimes on our land without any, with impunity and without any accountability, we believe that this conflict will be perpetuated forever, and there is no solution to it. So the court and its role, it will provide peace to this land, withholding those criminals and those who allow for these crimes to be committed in the occupied Palestinian territory accountable to their crimes.
So from what you're saying there, sir, you're saying that you view this entire ICC investigation and whatever happens next as part of a peace process?
Well, it is part of justice to the Palestinian people. The peace process was intended to achieve justice to the Palestinian people, and justice is what we seek. What we seek is an end to the oppression, to the tyranny that is being exerted, and to the punishments and to the violations of human rights and rights of Palestinian people left and right by the Israeli government, with no one holding it accountable at a national level or an international level. This court was established to hold accountable those who commit the most violent of crimes that shock the international humanity conscience, accountable to their crimes. So we believe that justice is what we seek, and we hope that justice is what will prevail at the end.
Let me ask you one more question, Mr. Hijazi. Beyond the idea of justice, and people would say, well, some people would argue that international justice is, I guess, a less tactile, less tangible thing for people on the ground than perhaps a state. What are you hoping to get out of this in terms of concrete measures for people in the Palestinian territories?
Concrete measures is accountability, holding Israel accountable to its crimes, meaning that ending all violations that are being committed, ending the expansion of settlement, and ending the theft of land, ending the destruction of homes, ending the killing of our children without anyone being held accountable. Those are the concrete measures that we hope to hold, and all of these together will grant a sense of justice to the Palestinian people, that someone out there cares about their fate, and that someone is paying a price for violations committed against them. This is the truth of the matter. And if Israel continues to have a free hand in committing these crimes without being held accountable, there is no hope in achieving neither peace nor any future of ending this conflict.
Ammar Hijazi there, the Assistant Minister for Multilateral Affairs for the State of Palestine. Thank you, sir, for joining us on Al Jazeera.
Thank you.